Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into acting,
Yeah.
what it takes to make it, the highs, the lows,
And
all
the stuff they don't teach you in class,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Our guy today is Patrick, working actor right here in Chicago.
Huh?
And we've got a great interview with him, plus your fantastic research notes. So
Yeah, we're going to really break it down.
break it down. Exactly. All right, let's start from the beginning. Patrick said he got the acting bug early on thanks to The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, yeah.
The Judy Garland one?
The Judy Garland one, yeah.
Specifically.
You know, and I was looking back at your notes, and we both picked up on something interesting that Patrick mentioned.
Yeah.
This idea of transformation. Like, that was what really hooked him as a kid. And when you look at his career now, he's done everything from Shakespeare to these really, like, gritty, independent films.
Oh, totally.
So that early fascination, it seems like it really stuck with him.
It really did. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. You know, he ran into those shady agencies.
Yeah. That you hear horror stories about.
Classic.
The ones demanding those big upfront fees from aspiring actors.
All the time, yeah.
Do you remember that story about
Oh, yeah, the deposit.
the $300 deposit?
The $300 deposit?
Classic trap for newcomers.
Absolutely. You know, Patrick's mom thankfully stepped in.
Yeah.
But not everyone has that, so it really shows how crucial networking and mentorship are in this industry. Having someone who can guide you and help you avoid those pitfalls.
Like needing a guide in the jungle.
Exactly.
Someone who knows all the paths. And
Exactly.
so Patrick learned his craft doing theater, which he said was like boot camp for acting. Taught him discipline, stage presence, and get this, the importance of listening.
Listening, yeah, that's often overlooked, right?
Yeah.
But when you think about it, reacting to your scene partner, picking up on those subtle cues, it's all about listening. Theater just forces you to be present in the moment.
Yeah, gotta be.
Which is so invaluable for any actor.
Totally. So his first professional role was actually in a church play.
Oh, wow.
Unpaid, but with a director who was super dedicated, aiming for Broadway-level quality even in that setting.
Wow. Talk about passion projects, huh? Sometimes those are the most valuable, you know?
Absolutely.
Where you learn the most and make connections that pay off later.
Yeah, and speaking of paying off, he eventually landed a role on Chicago PD.
Wow.
Sharing scenes with Michael Beach, you know, from Soul Food, Aquaman.
Of course, yeah.
Patrick said he was totally starstruck.
Yeah, can you imagine that? Going from watching someone on screen to acting alongside them? I mean, it just shows how this industry, for all its craziness, can connect people across generations.
Yeah, what an experience that must have been. All right, here's where things get interesting. Patrick described his look as ambiguous, meaning he can play a wide range of roles.
Okay.
But he's also really careful not to get pigeonholed.
Right.
Meaning stuck playing only one type of character.
Yeah. He actually talked about strategically auditioning for roles written for white actors to kind of showcase his range and challenge those preconceived notions. It's pretty smart, you know? Taking control of his narrative and pushing for more inclusive casting.
Totally. He's got strong opinions about the roles he takes on. Like, remember when he told that story about repeatedly getting cast as a rapist early in his career?
Oh, yeah.
Talk about an uncomfortable situation.
That raises so many questions, doesn't it?
So many.
How do you portray a character like that authentically, you know?
Right.
Without feeling like you're condoning their actions.
Right.
Where do you draw the line? This is the kind of behind-the-scenes stuff we rarely get to hear about.
And Patrick was very clear about this.
Yeah.
Actors need to have standards, but also need to be open to feedback and direction. He uses this great phrase, chew the meat and spit out the bones, when it comes to criticism.
Ooh, I like that.
Basically, take the valuable parts and leave the rest behind.
Yeah, and that's crucial in any creative field, isn't it?
I think so.
You know, not letting negativity derail you, but also being open to learning, refining your craft.
Right.
Especially in an industry as tough as acting, with so much rejection and competition. So much of it.
Yeah. And speaking of handling those tough situations, he had some strong words about using social media to air grievances. He's all about direct, private communication to resolve conflicts.
Yeah. That speaks volumes about his professionalism, I think.
I think so, too.
In this day and age, it's so easy to vent online, but that can damage your reputation.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in a collaborative industry like acting. Patrick gets it. You're building a career, not just getting a role.
He talked about being inspired by actors like Michael B. Jordan and Leonardo DiCaprio, but not for the reasons you might think. It's not about copying their careers. It's about their long-term collaborations with directors like Ryan Coogler and Martin Scorsese.
Okay. Yeah.
He sees those partnerships as a model for the kind of long-lasting creative synergy he hopes to find.
And that makes so much sense, right?
Yeah.
Every great artist has a team behind them. Right. These collaborators who understand their vision and push them further.
It's like a band.
It is.
Each member is good on their own.
Right.
But together they create something really special.
Absolutely.
And it's clear that Patrick is on the lookout for his bandmates in the industry, building those relationships.
Yeah. And that's what makes his story so compelling.
Yeah.
He's talented, he's ambitious, but also really grounded.
Yeah.
And aware of the bigger picture.
He's got that long game.
He does. He's not just chasing fame, he's building a career.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground already, from those early influences to navigating the industry's ups and downs.
Yeah.
But before we move on, what's standing out to you so far about Patrick's journey?
I think what really strikes me is his blend of idealism and pragmatism.
Okay.
He's got big dreams, but he's also realistic about the challenges. It's refreshing to see that self-awareness.
Totally agree. He's got that hustle, but he's not naive. And that combination, to me, I think is what separates those who just dream from those who actually make it happen.
It is, that drive.
That drive, that awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so let's move on to part 2 of our deep dive with Patrick D, because we're going to get into some really juicy stuff. He's got some strong opinions about method acting, dealing with difficult directors, and even, get this, working with notoriously difficult actors.
Oh boy, this should be good.
Buckle up. We were just talking about how Patrick is both ambitious and grounded, and that really comes through in his thoughts on method acting. It's a technique that gets a lot of attention, but he has a very specific take on it.
Yeah, for those unfamiliar, method acting is all about this, like, deep immersion in the role.
Right.
Sometimes blurring the lines between the actor and the character.
Right.
Like, Daniel Day-Lewis, probably the most famous example, known for staying in character for months on end.
Oh, yeah.
Really going all in.
Yeah.
But Patrick isn't a fan of taking it that far. He believes in, like, leaving the character on set.
Yeah, I remember he even joked about how if you're playing a serial killer, you don't want to bring that serial killer face home with you.
Right, exactly.
It's a humorous way of making a serious point.
Totally.
Actors deal with such intense emotions and situations.
Yeah.
Having healthy boundaries is just crucial.
It is.
It's about finding that balance, committing to the role, but protecting your own well-being.
And speaking of intense roles, we touched on how Patrick's ambiguous look allows him to play diverse characters. But early in his career, that also meant getting cast in some roles that sparked some difficult conversations.
Oh, yeah.
Like that story about repeatedly being cast as a rapist.
That must have been like a tricky situation to navigate.
Oh, absolutely.
You have this challenge of portraying a character authentically, but also the responsibility of not perpetuating harmful stereotypes.
Right.
It really speaks to the power actors have and the ethical consideration that they sometimes face.
It's like walking a tightrope, isn't it?
It is.
Finding that nuance and making sure your performance doesn't send the wrong message.
Right.
And Patrick really emphasized the importance of, open communication with the director.
Yeah.
And your co-stars, especially when dealing with these sensitive scenes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Whether it's a scene with physical intimacy or exploring a difficult theme, that dialogue is it's essential.
Yeah.
Everyone on set needs to feel comfortable and respected, and that comes from open, honest communication.
Yeah, it's about creating that safe space.
Right.
For everyone to do their best work without feeling exploited or like their boundaries are being crossed. Now, no workplace is perfect.
Right.
And the entertainment industry is known for its big personalities and, occasional clashes.
Yeah.
So we asked Patrick how he'd handle a situation where a director was being unprofessional, like yelling at actors, creating a toxic atmosphere.
Yeah.
And his advice was all about maintaining your own professionalism, even when those around you aren't. He used this great phrase, chew the meat and spit out the bones.
Okay, yeah.
Basically, take the valuable feedback, even if it's delivered poorly, and discard the negativity.
Right. Don't let someone else's bad behavior affect your performance.
Or your reputation.
Yeah.
He's got this long-term vision. It really impressed me.
It's impressive.
It's so easy to get caught up in the drama, but he's focused on the bigger picture.
That's a sign of maturity, I think.
Yeah.
He also cautioned against airing those grievances on social media.
Oh, right.
Advocating for that, like direct private communication to resolve conflicts.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's about preserving relationships and not burning bridges.
Which is so important in this industry.
Absolutely.
It's all about connections and your reputation. Okay, here's a question that really got me thinking. We asked Patrick if he'd be willing to work with a notoriously difficult actor, someone known for being, disrespectful, unprofessional, if it meant potentially advancing his career.
Oh, wow. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
What did he say?
And his answer surprised me. He said he'd probably give it a shot.
Really?
Even if others advised against it. It's like he's willing to form his own opinions.
Yeah.
And see the potential for growth, even in those challenging situations.
Like he trusts his gut.
He does.
He's going to, make his own assessment.
He's going to see for himself.
Yeah.
And I think he sees the human side of it,
Yeah.
that even someone with a bad reputation might have something to offer.
Right.
Something to learn from.
You can learn from anyone.
Exactly. It's a risk, for sure, but it also speaks to his confidence.
Definitely.
And his ability to handle those tricky dynamics.
It's about trusting your instincts, even when they go against conventional wisdom.
Totally.
It made me wonder, what are your thoughts on working with difficult people? Is it always best to avoid them? Or are there times when it's worth the risk?
That's a good question. And I think it really depends on the situation,
Right.
Sometimes you got to pick your battles.
You do.
But I admire Patrick's willingness to take a chance.
Yeah.
See things for himself.
It's a reminder that everyone has their own story.
They do.
Their own struggles. Now, shifting gears a bit.
Okay.
Let's talk about inspiration. Patrick mentioned being a fan of Gangs of London and Yellowstone, two very different shows, but both with compelling characters.
Yeah.
And high-stakes storytelling.
I found that interesting because it shows he's drawn to strong narratives, whether it's, gritty action or that slow burn tension.
It makes you want to check them out.
I know, I want to.
Yeah, me too. It's always fascinating to see what inspires artists,
It
what resonates with them on a storytelling level.
Yeah.
And when it comes to actors he admires, he mentioned Michael B. Jordan and Leonardo DiCaprio, but not for the reasons you might think.
Yeah, he's not necessarily looking to copy their careers.
Right.
But rather he's drawn to those strong collaborative relationships they have with directors Ryan Coogler and Martin Scorsese.
Yeah.
He sees those partnerships as a model for the kind of long-lasting creative synergy he hopes to find.
That's a really insightful observation. It's not just about individual talent.
Right.
It's about finding those collaborators who bring out your best work, who challenge you and support you in equal measure.
It's like finding your artistic soulmate.
It is.
That director who just gets you.
Yeah.
Helps you reach your full potential. And Patrick's actively creating those opportunities, not just waiting for them to come along. He talked about his new sci-fi short film, The Catalyst Code, which showcases his martial arts skills. And a crime drama feature he's writing, producing, and starring in.
Wow, he's a true multi-hyphenate.
He is.
Taking control of his career, crafting his own path.
Yeah.
It's inspiring to see that drive and that, entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah, it's like you don't have to wait for permission to create.
Yeah.
You can make your own opportunities.
And speaking of opportunities, he mentioned working with you on a project, a follow-up to your film, Facing Your Demons.
Oh, yeah, he did.
He was pretty tight-lipped about the details, but he did say it's part of a larger trilogy you're developing together.
We are. We're still in the early stages.
Okay.
But it's shaping up to be something special.
Awesome.
And working with Patrick is a joy. He brings so much energy and creativity to the table.
I bet.
So before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, what's resonating with you most about Patrick's story so far? What insights have surprised you or maybe even challenged your assumptions about the acting world?
I think what stands out to me is his emphasis on finding your artistic tribe.
Okay.
Those collaborators who elevate your work and help you grow.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that success is rarely a solo act. It's about finding the right people to share the journey with.
And I'm really struck by his combination of ambition and humility.
Yeah, that's nice.
He's got big goals, but he's also really grounded and willing to learn. It's a powerful reminder that talent alone isn't enough.
It's not.
It takes hard work, resilience, and a constant desire to improve. We've been diving deep into the world of acting with Patrick D. I have to say, I'm really impressed by his insights and his journey so far.
Yeah, he's definitely one to watch. But, beyond his talent, what's striking is his mindset.
Yeah.
His emphasis on resilience, professionalism, and constant growth. It's made me think, those qualities, they aren't exclusive to acting, are they?
That's so true.
Yeah.
Every field has its challenges, rejections, difficult personalities, and in a world that's constantly changing, being able to adapt and learn new skills, that's essential.
Absolutely. So here's something for you, our listener, to consider.
Okay.
How can you apply those same principles, resilience, professionalism, a thirst for knowledge, to your own life and career?
I love that.
Yeah.
Whether you're an artist, an entrepreneur, or just navigating the ups and downs of daily life, those qualities are so invaluable.
They are.
It's true.
So think about it. When faced with a setback, how do you bounce back?
Yeah.
Do you seek out constructive criticism? And do you use it to improve? Are you constantly learning and pushing yourself outside your comfort zone?
These are the questions Patrick's journey has sparked for me, and I hope they resonate with you as well.
I do too.
Yeah. It's a reminder that the pursuit of excellence in any field requires a certain mindset, a willingness to embrace the challenges.
Right.
Keep striving for better.
Absolutely.
And for those of you intrigued by Patrick D.,
we
encourage you to check out his work. He's got some really exciting projects on the horizon. But beyond that, let his story be a source of inspiration,
Yeah, it's proof that talent combined with hard work, a positive attitude, and a supportive community can lead to incredible things.
It really can. So keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the things that fascinate you. Until next time.
See ya.